Pretty straightforward, you know, it looks like you've just got a few pins. But as you can see here, you come down past the start-finish line there with the checkered flag. This is where it is really difficult. Into the only right-hander we've got. Jonas Andersson came round there yesterday, took off like a low-flying aircraft, and it was curtains for him. From number 1 into number 2, you've got the rollers coming in from the sea. From number 2 to number 3, it's very, very short shoot there. Then from the 3rd corner to the 4th, get that boat on top of the water, getting maximum speed, probably going into number 4 at 120 miles an hour, down that long back straight, 600 meters, opportunities here for overtaking. Into number 5, watching the side wind again coming in from the sea between 5 and 6, and down past that start-finish line.
We'll see how it pans out this afternoon. The wind is starting to kick up a little bit, which we expected in the late afternoon here. It'll be tricky for the drivers, especially as you mentioned down in the right-hander in turns number 2 and 3. Well, 20 drivers, 3 world champions and 3 rookies are ready for this 4th round of this UIM Formula 1 race here in Jeddah. Let's show you how they'll line up on the dock for today's Grand Prix. Starting number 1 will be Sean Torrente out of Florida. He was very quick with a 41.444, 0.2 of a second behind Jonas Andersson. And then Ferdinand Zandbergen, the driver from the Netherlands, having his best qualifying of the year. Peter Moran, the top 5, and he's fighting for a top 5 in the championship. He'll start 4th. Bartek Marzwak had a great run yesterday. He continued to only get better. Stefan Arand, the youngster out of Estonia, will start in the 6th spot, and his teammate with Team Sharjah, Rusty Wyatt, a bit frustrated. He'll start way down in the 7th spot. Then Sami Celio, 2-time world champion with Red Devil, will start in the 8th spot. Alberto Comparato, the only Italian in the field, will start in the 9th position. And then Maurice Stromoy with his futuristic Marine Mercury engine will be in the 10th spot. In the 11th position will be Ben Jelf, who is a rising star for the UK. Then Stefan Hagen is getting in his feet wet for the first time ever, his first race in Formula 1. Next to him is Andre Bourgeot, along with Mansour Al-Manzouri, the driver from Team Abu Dhabi in the 14th spot. Duarte Benavente, he is the oldest driver, the veteran of 27 years on the circuit. He'll start 15th. And then Alec Vekstrom, an engine change. This man leads the championship. He's going to start way down. What a disappointment for the man from Finland. Then Eric Stark, who's also up in the top, fighting for the World Championship. He had an engine change, as did Grant Trask from Australia. Cedric de Guin will be in the 19th spot. He also had to change his engine. And then Damian Cohen, we hope you'll get him off the start grid today. He is down in the 20th spot. Well, yesterday afternoon, after a short but intense pair of sprint races took place, as we split the field in half according to how they qualified, with 10 important points in the bank, awaiting for the winner of each heat towards the overall championship in this first event. As they explode away from the dock in sprint race number 1, it was the American Sean Torrente with a victory team getting a hole shot, and he took off like a breeze. And Peter Moran was being harassed by Bartek Marzwak and Rusty Wyatt coming up from the 4th spot, and as they all tangled out and worked their way down the front straightaway, there was a bit of a change in the lead and then the 2nd place position, but Torrente held on easily in that 1st place. As the 2nd place battle was between 3 different boats, Torrente came by and he took the victory with ease. Peter Moran came home in 2nd place, 4 seconds back. Bartek Marzwak, the Polish driver, finished 3rd, and the top 6 drivers in qualifying all finished in the top 6. There were no changes after all of that. So, with that said, Torrente, he's excited today. He's getting ready to put on a show, and this is about his preparation this morning. He didn't stay out long, but he's ready and focused for today's race. Let's hear from him.
So in warm-up this morning, really, we're just checking all the systems, make sure everything's good, make sure offset on the ECU's good with the weather, and then propellers, 2 propellers, because we have a little bit different range speed-wise and off the dock, so we're just trying to figure out what's best for. It's always a little bit of a compromise, best off the dock versus best around the course. So when you're starting first, that helps, so you're able to make that little bit of compromise. Man, I'm ready to do my 50 laps and go home with my 20 points. That's what I'm feeling. Let's go. I need my 20 points in my win and go home and see my wife and daughter, and I haven't seen them for 2 weeks, so I'm looking forward to it.
Sean Torrente straight up, and that's exactly how he feels, and why not? He's smiling because he's gone from 7 points back in 2nd place up to just 1 point away from the number 1 spot going into this race today, and he will be on pole position. Well, in the 2nd heat race, the 2nd sprint race that came through, it was Jonas Andersson who had the start, and this 3-time world champion and defending world champion took off like the wind. He was 0.2 of a second behind Torrente and will start second today, but look at him in the whole shot. He got ahead of Ferdinand Zandbergen and Alec Vekstrom. Vekstrom, who leads this championship, was struggling, but there you see him there. And he was low on power. He was being challenged by Stefan Arand, a youngster out of Estonia who was trying to close. And then Vekstrom made a mistake. Oh my, right on the far side of the course. He stabbed the buoy, cost him a lap, and not a really good wrap up for the day, as Vekstrom was losing points by the carload at this time. And the difference between first and second in this championship is buttoned up. And there was a good battle right there between Alberto Comparato and Stefan Arand as they came around fighting for that final couple of positions. But at the very end, when they came by, it was Jonas Andersson who held point, and he came home. He's had a perfect match race history. He's won 12 in a row ahead of Stefan Arand, who finished second, and then Stefan Hagen actually ended up taking third. So the the first race rookie from Germany came home in third after they punished Alec Vekstrom for taking out the buoy. So what a surprise. And we had a chance to talk to Stefan Hagen and his thoughts about just being here and racing for the very first time in Formula One.
Yeah, the race was awesome for me. I mean, I was starting from position 8, so my goal was just to finish in this position and do the best what I can. And at the end, I managed to go up to the 3rd position, so that was amazing. I feel the boat very good. Still need some more seat time in Formula One, but I have made a big improvement during the weekend.
And as we look out from our drone shot there, you can see your HHR. This is Prince Sultan bin Fayed bin Salman Al Saud, and he is the president of the Water Sports and Diving Association here in Saudi Arabia. It's great to have him here as he is walking along, and this will be his chance to watch his first Grand Prix ever here in Jeddah. He's got to be excited. We see Raimundo de San Germano, the taller gentleman in the blue shirt, escorting him up into his special box, along with the UIM president from Italy who has come here. And a lot of dignitaries are following the prince upstairs. And you know he loves water sports if he is the president of water sports and diving. So he's got to be excited. A lot of royalty that has come to watch Formula One today. This is our 3rd time that we have come to Saudi Arabia. We came here for the first time 21 years ago, back in 2004. We were on the opposite side of the country, over in the Persian Gulf, and the American Scott Gilman won that race. He went on later to become the world champion that year. And 6 finishers in that race. The top 6 are actually, 5 of the 6 are actually here this weekend, so it's fantastic. 2 of the drivers, including one on the podium in 2004, Sami Celio, is in the race today, so that's pretty exciting. Well, tell you what, the big thing about the 3-time world champion Jonas Andersson is he had all sorts of misery yesterday. And let's get a chance. First, let's do the national anthem here for Saudi Arabia. Alrighty, well, that was a fantastic rendition of the national anthem of Saudi Arabia. It's great to be here in this lovely country, and I'll tell you something, Jonas Andersson, who will be starting second today, had all sorts of drama yesterday, and he has his struggles continuing. He said this is the first time in 10 years that he actually had an accident in qualifying. It was in the final 30 seconds. Jonas Andersson, 2/10 back, was trying to catch Sean Torrente, and look, let's see what happened here.
We were fixing some small things that we had an issue with from yesterday's swimming, so now it seems all okay. It feels good, everything is like it should be, so I just hope that everything stays together and we can make a good race. Now, I mean, it's very fast this weekend, and I need to figure out which prop to use and the setting of the engine, and then we go from there.
He's feeling pretty confident, and he should be. It's going to be a drag race down in that first turn. 50 laps around this afternoon. The voyage will be for the Grand Prix, and you know Jonas Anderson and Sean Tarente will be gunnel to gunnel as they head down to that commitment buoy. That's going to be really exciting. But I'll tell you what, let's take a look as we update the team standings heading into today's Grand Prix. Which team has been most successful thus far at 4 out of 5 races in 2025? The Victory team has done so very well this year. They've got 2 wonderful, talented drivers. And Sean Tarente, who is chasing down a victory today, he hopes to get. His teammate, Alec Vekstrom, won the last time out, his very first race. That was in Zhengzhou in China about a month ago. So there you have it, the Victory team, 28 points ahead of Team Sharjah with 2 wonderful drivers they have. And then Team Sweden, who won this team championship a year ago, is in 3rd place. They still can go without a shout, but they're going to have really good performances by not only the 3-time world champion, but also Grant Trask, the rookie or the driver from Australia, who's going to need to go well. Well, I'll tell you what, it's time to jump over, and it's time to meet my partner if we get a chance. But first, I'll tell you what, here's what we want to do first. This is going to be fun. You're going to enjoy this. With drivers from 4 different continents coming from all throughout the world and bringing their traditions along with them, it's always fun to learn about them as people, as we learn about their personal lives and loves in a segment we call Meet the Drivers. Today, it's all about the rivalry of 2 drivers from 2 different continents fighting for bragging rights of their favorite sport away from racing. It's ice hockey.
The competitive nature of Formula One not only goes through the boats in the water, but also on land. These 2 drivers, one here from Northern Europe, the second one here representing North America, they're hockey aficionados. They know the sport and they are competitive. They're ready to take each other on. Let's find out who will win, Europe or North America. Let the game begin.
Way back here.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, right on goal. Didn't get it.
There's 3. Do you ever?
Oh, did you get it in?
First one.
It's over. It's over. Northern Europe.
Close. Yes,
North America.
Close.
I can't believe
1
it.
for 1.
Unbelievable. Look at that. 1 shot, 1 goal. He's number 1 in the championship. What the hell's going on this year with this guy? Congratulations. Alec
you.
Vekstrom, good job. Finland wins.
Let's get a prize.
Oh, here he is, Mr. Formula One H2O, hockey champion, Alec Vekstrom from Finland. You
Very nice
are
game.
the champion.
Champion of the hockey. Maybe also.
I gotta laugh. These 2 gentlemen here, the tremendous boat racers with unlimited talent, do play hockey when they're home. And believe me, in Canada right now, in Finland, there's a lot of snow that's falling and the ice is about ready to form on the rink. So congratulations to Northern Europe, Alec Vekstrom, who leads this championship by 1 point. And I'll tell you something, his teammate is going to challenge him in a big, big way today, because Sean Tarente will lead off the pole. And Vekstrom, because he had an engine change, is going to be way down in the pack. He's going to have to fight his way back up. As we take a look at the drivers, it's incredible. We have not had 15 nations representative on this tour in the last few years, but today with the addition of Stefan Hagen in the number 88 machine from Germany, he is replacing Brett Dillard, who we're excited to say that Brett Dillard, who has been out all year long with back surgery, is coming back, and he'll be back in his regular number 8 machine for Sharjah for our final round, which is just a month away. And there's still 50 points still up for grabs in this championship, 20 today and then 30 in Sharjah, including the sprint races. So anything can happen. So many drivers. We came into this weekend with 19 possible drivers to still have the chance and a shout out to win the title. Well, after yesterday's sprint races, we're down to 13 different drivers who still have a shot at it. And the 13th and the last possibility is Ben Jelf. And the big thing with him is that, you know, we think that maybe Ben Jelf, he's got to have a perfect day for him to get a chance to win the title, and everybody else has to drop out. So the British driver is going to have a bit of a long stay if he wants to see if he can get a championship. Tell you what, we got some of the drivers that we've had a chance to chit-chat with. And let's see, Alberto Comparato. Let's find out how the Italian plans on doing his thing this afternoon.
I find out that I get 2-position penalty for the start. I think it was tight, but for me that's racing. If you leave a lot of gap, then we are not here for play, we are here for fight. Warm-up was pretty good. I think I find a good prop, but in the end I had a small electrical problem, but the guys will fix it for the race. I see that also Rusty is in the back, so I know it's very good to overtake, so we just to follow him and get as many positions as possible.
Tell you what, the Alberto Comparato and the Comparato Racing Team is a great tradition. It's in their second generation. His father Fabio raced for many years, and Fabio actually in 2004, we go back to 2004 because that was our first time here in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, actually won a race in Malaysia, and we jokingly give him a hard time by calling him the King of Malaysia for his victory there. But they both, he and his father, work with a very successful business that they have just outside of Venice. And they have a huge powerboat racing family there, and they work maintenance-wise on different size yachts, from as little as a towboat all the way to 30-meter yachts. So they're a big player in that area of northeast Italy. So Comparato family, they've been around boats all their life, and good for them. And I'll tell you what, I think he's going to do well today after struggling yesterday. Let's go now and shift our attention to a driver who is one half a team with Sami Celio. As we look over at Ferdinand Zanderbergen, let's hear from him as he is getting ready to run today. He's starting in third spot, by far his best. First time up in the top 10 this year. He's got to be excited.
We had the sprint race. I was in the second position, and then we get electrical failures. We found the problem, and now we're going into the main race with a good feeling. We need to be focused and try to be the fastest.
All right, Ferdinand, who has won actually already on the tour. This will be his 21st start. He's got one pole. He's been in the top 10 Q3 shootout in 10 of his 20 starts previously. His average qualifying this year has been a measly 13th, but he's finished in the 8th spot, which makes him 5th best. So he starts down lower this year on average and comes up fast. So good for the youngster out of the Nederlands. As we get a chance now to see for the first time, they bring the boats around at Jonathan Jones. You're back with me, buddy. All right, here we go. We've got the parade lap starting. And a lot of dignitaries on board, and everybody's ready. This is when the drivers come by. You know what it's like. Wave at the fans, let them know you're here, and you appreciate these large crowds that have come here today.
Yeah, it's certainly a fantastic event that we've got here this weekend, Steve, and you know, great to see the organisation is tip-top, and I think we're in for a really exciting 50-lap race here, because as we know, Steve, in qualifying yesterday, there was literally half a second between the top 4 or 5 boats, so it's anybody's guess. It could be any of the top 6 or 7 that could actually come away with a win here in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it's wide open today, and it's so very important to finish up strongly. Winners and losers so far this weekend. Let's start with the losers.
Well, the guys that have made it fairly difficult for themselves is Alec Wexstrom, because obviously he's leading the championship at the moment, and they've been dogged with issues all weekend, and they had to change the engine, so he's pretty much had to go to the back of the field. And because it's such a tight circuit here, the victory driver, I'm sure he'll work his way up there, Steve, but it's going to be a tall order once he gets up into the top 6 or 7. Another guy, of course, Grant Trask, issues again with him, and they sorted them out for this morning. He looked really fast in free practice. Watch out for him, but again, he's down in that 18th position. I'd certainly rather be where his teammate Jonas Andersson is at the moment. Andersson in that second slot. There's going to be a big fight on that first turn, Steve, between the leader today, the guy that got pole position, Sean Torrente, and Jonas Andersson in that second slot.
There you see Grant Trask, the driver out of Australia, to Kiwi make that for the Australians today. There's two drivers representing Oz. You got Damon Cohen. Wait to see if he comes out, and he was questionable for the start, and 2 spots in front of him was Grant Trask in that 18th position. So the boats are going around this very interesting and fast, yes, 6-pin course, 1.8 kilometer, 1.1 mile circuit, and we go on board with the Canadian Rusty Wyatt in the Sharjah boat. He's in the number 17 machine, and tell you what, he made himself known, and there we see the driver who is his teammate getting a chance to go through. That's Stefan Arand, and he's still caught up in the mix for the championship title.
Yeah, and Stefan yesterday in the racing that we had yesterday afternoon, my goodness, he came alive. He made some amazing overtaking opportunities. So I'll tell you what, keep an eye out for him today, because although he's starting a little bit behind off the pole position there, a little bit further down, but I can tell you something, the way he was driving, he'll be making up some solid progress as the event goes on.
Yeah, and he took the pole in Shanghai, surprised everybody, but he's had some good qualifying efforts this year. Now, Marit Stromoy, this is a year or 2.5 with her with this new engine. Talk a little bit about this 4-cycle engine.
Okay, so Mercury, Steve, have introduced a new 4-stroke engine. All of these engines, other than Marit's, are a 2.5 litre V6 2-stroke engine, producing about between 400 and 500 horsepower. Mercury said, well, we've got to make a move, and they designed and built a new 4-stroke V8 engine. You can see it on the back of Marit's boat there, and she's taken now about 2 seasons working with Mercury engineers to try and get this engine as competitive as the 2-stroke engine that all the other guys have got. And you know, this morning I saw that glimmer of hope, because she's got a good balance on the boat. Unfortunately, she's a little way down the field, so it's going to make it tough for her. But this morning, she was really on the money. Her pace was up with Jonas Andersson in free practice, so watch out for the number 50 boat this afternoon.
All right, as we watch her work her way around, now the sun is starting to set a little bit farther down off to our west side here, which is really out toward the opening, down toward turns 2 and 3 of the creek, heading out to the Red Sea. We're just steps away from the opening of the Red Sea, as we have this lovely creek right in front of us, protected, and looks like the conditions are just about picture perfect.
Yeah, picking up there Duarte Benavente from Portugal in the number 10 boat, sponsored by Interpass, a company that's been with him for many, many years. He's been racing, well, forever, Steve, and he may not be the fastest out there, but he's always there at the end. So it'd be really nice to see Benavente maybe get in a midfield position in the actual event itself.
Yeah, Duarte this year, this is his 4th race start. He started all 4 in the 19th position, so he'd like to improve. Now, 21 years ago, yes, he was here in Saudi, and yes, he got into Q3. He was the top 5 qualifier then, so let's see what the veteran can do today. Can he come charging from the back? This guy in his French Moore-built boat today.
Yeah, as a driver, I mean, he is really bang on the money, but unfortunately he doesn't quite have the horsepower of some of these front runners. And you know, it's great to have a good boat and a good driver, but you've got to have a powerful engine to push this boat along on the water, and he's lacking a little bit in that area, but hopefully he'll be there at the end.
All right, as we watch the boats continue to circle around, there you've got the nation's flag representing Portugal for Duarte Benavente. And he is one of a great guy. We've known him for many years, as we talked about. And there's Jenny Jelf, the mother of our good driver Ben Jelf from the UK, getting better and better. There are 2-3 generations of racing in that family. Boy, have they been around a long time, Jonathan.
Well, I've been around a while as well, Steve, and I used to race against Colin Jelf who is Ben Jelf's father. I used to race against his father in the 80s. So yeah, that family, they've been a big part of powerboat racing for probably 40 or 50 years.
Yeah, and he's a tremendous speed champion. He's won so many marks and speed records in the UK, as he goes out and just dominates when he goes out setting speed records, and hats off to him. So far this year, Ben Jelf, he got a podium at the very first race. He finished third in Indonesia and then dropped out the last two races, Jonathan. He has not finished since the opening round back in August in Indonesia, so he'd like to turn that around today.
Yeah, yesterday in qualifying, I believe they had a problem with the power, with the something to do with the power that controls the trim on the engine, that moves the trim in and out on the engine, and they had to retire. So obviously he's a little way down the field.
All right, so racing in Saudi Arabia goes back 21 years to the lovely resort of Sunset Beach. It was won by the American Scott Gilman, who is here today, race managing the powerful Sharjah team and hoping to steer either his Canadian driver Rusty White or Estonian pilot Stefan Aran to their first world titles. As a matter of fact, 5 of the first 6 finishers in the 2004 event are here this weekend, addicted to this fast-paced, challenging, difficult sport. Half the field still with hopes and dreams of winning the world title. So it's time for these elbows to come out. It's time to go racing. On a lovely, warm, sunshine-filled late afternoon, just a stone's throw from the Red Sea in the spectacular city of Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. It's the 4th round of the 2025 UIM Formula One World Championship for powerboating at the Grand Prix of Jeddah, and our 3rd stop in our history to Saudi Arabia. Hi, everybody. I'm your host, Stephen Michael, along with my partner, race analyst, and many-time world champion, Jonathan Jones, and we greet you on the edge of the Obar Creek that works its way out to the eastern shore of the Red Sea here in the country's 2nd largest city and major port. Jonathan, I tell you what, it's our first time to visit this city, and to say the least, I'm truly enjoying being here in the postcard of the city. What's impressed you most about your week touring the area?
Well, both of us, Steve, have spent the week here and they've shown us the region. I mean, we've been out in the desert with the beautiful sand that they've got out there, and we've been introduced a lot to the local culture, to some of the mosques. The one thing I've noticed is the pace of development in Jeddah is on another level. There are hotels going up everywhere. Tourism is obviously going to be playing a big part here. And as you pointed out, it's a big port. It's the biggest port that they have in Saudi Arabia, and it's the 2nd largest city. And Jeddah. So, you know, I think for the future, tourism, as I said earlier, going to be playing a big part in Saudi Arabia and this region.
It's fascinating and only getting more spectacular. Jeddah. Wow, this race course along the creek is shorter than most on the tour, Jonathan, and it's challenging to say the least. Take us around and give us the secret ways of going fast on this 1.8 kilometer, 1.1 mile bull ring of a circuit.
Well, Steve, as you can see, you come down now past that start-finish line, which is depicted by the checkered flag. Now, this is into turn one. It's really tricky here. It's the only right-hander we've got. You've got the wind coming in from the sea, the rollers coming in. So between number 1 and number 2, Jonas yesterday started taking over, turned the boat over. From 2 to number 3, that's a really short shoot. Off turn number 3, you want to get that boat running about 120 mile an hour as it comes into turn number 4, so you get that maximum speed down that long 600-meter back straight. And then turning into number 5, you've got the side wind again coming in from the seaward side. Be careful over there. Through into number 6 and down to the start-finish line.
It's going to be exciting. Now, one of the strongest field of drivers with 20 pilots representing 15 countries and 4 continents, ready to fight for the world title with only 2 races left to be run in 2025. Let's take a look at how they'll line up. Sean Torrente, the 3-time world champion from Florida, driving for the victory team, set a sizzling time of close to 158 kilometers per hour. Next to him, Jonas Andersson was 0.2 of a second behind Ferdinand Zandberg in his best qualifying ever. Peter Moran in the 4th spot, Bartek Marzwak from Poland in the 5th spot, Stefan Around and his teammate Rusty Wyatt 6th and 7th. Sami Celio had the podium back in 2004 in the 8th spot. Alberto Comparato, Marit Stromoy in the top 10. Let's look at the final 10 here. Ben Gell from the UK, Stefan Hagen in his very first race from Germany, Alexander Bourgeau, Mansour Al-Mazzouri from Team Abu Dhabi, Duarte Benavente from Portugal, Alec Vekstrom, Eric Stark, Grant Trask, Cedric Deguine, and Damon Cohen, all with engine problems starting back. Less than 30 seconds to go. All eyes now glued in the official starter. We hold our breath as they look across this race course, ready to run 600 meters. Just seconds before the start, we'll wait for all 3 rows of lights to come on, and when they go off, we're going racing. 1, 2, 3, here we go. We hold our breath. Any second now, and the lights are off, and they explode away from the dock, and Sean Torrente fighting side by side. Jonas Andersson trying to get level with him, but the Florida driver trying to cut him off. Now noses ahead by 1 boat length as they work their way down 600 meters. Hold your breath as they go through on the commitment buoy. Now the first hard turn. Can Jonas Andersson figure out a way on the outside? He doesn't, and he slides through as the rest of the field circumnavigates their way around, and coming down the front straight away, it's Torrente who got the hole shot. He needed that. That's what he got. And as they fight their way through, you can see the drivers with Bartek Marzwak trying to stay right up, trying to take 3rd place away from Peter Moran, the Frenchman, as they go side by side down into that corner, Jonathan, through turn 2 and 3, and now heading down the back straightaway.
There is a ding-dong battle going on there, but back to the lead driver, back to Sean Torrente. What a start he had. As you saw, off the pontoon, Sean got the jump on Jonas. Jonas seemed to have a little bit more mid-range, Stephen. We thought he was going to be able to take him, but once Sean was up to speed, my goodness, he came into the first turn. He's got clear water ahead of him, and he's going to be making some ground in the next 4 or 5 laps.
Alec Vekstrom down in that 15th spot, moving up a little at a time, trying to charge his way from the front. We go on board with Rusty Wyatt, the Canadian with the Sharjah team, and Rusty's down in that 6th spot as the driver from Canada is trying to move up and chase down valuable championship points. And we get a chance to see that Grant Trask side by side now. Celio with Alberto Comparato, a 2-time world champion, fighting the youngster from Italy. And now right there you can see that Grant Trask is nipping at the heels of the Finnish driver, Alec Vekstrom. They almost tagged each other as they went around turn number 2.
Wow, brilliant driving there by Vekstrom and by Grant Trask, not giving each other an inch. And you can see there Ben Gell on the inside, starting to make some ground up at the moment. He's on the inside of Sami Celio, he's down in 10th, and there's a ding-dong battle there. Comparato on the inside, Sami Celio having to take a wide line, and Beljev trying to tuck inside them.
All right, Comparato got the inside groove. They're fighting for 8th place. 3 boats here. Sami Celio and that red and white machine. There you see Ben Gell, who came up very, very close to Celio, but he's lost a little bit of ground because he was forced to go wide, and now he's got the momentum going through the right-hander. Now Celio trying to hold his ground. He's trying to close up on Comparato. It's a drag race down the back straight straightaway. Comparato, the Italian, the only Italian driver in this race today, representing the Comparato race team, had enough horsepower, Jonathan, and he pulled away. But let's see if Celio and his Charger-built boat can close the gap on the Italian-built boat.
What happened there was that Sammy Celio was on the inside, and you could see Comparato carrying more speed coming into turn number 4. So when he got down the back straight, he was probably about 5 or 10 mile an hour up on him. You can see Celio there now trying to take a tight line on the inside, but Comparato's carrying more speed on the outside, Steve, and that's giving him better speed as he goes down the front straight.
All right, 3 laps in the record books out of the 50-lap affair, and it's Torrente right now with the fastest lap at a 44.409, and he's 4 seconds ahead of Jonas Anderson, and Zandbergen's all the way 7 seconds behind Anderson. So first and second are pulling away from the rest of the field, but we're having great times watching this drama as they are fighting for 8th spot as we go back and we take a look at the driver from Poland, Bartek Marzwak, down in that 7th place position. So Bartek is trying to fight his way back up into the top 5, and he's doing his best to try to pull off a rabbit out of his head. He ran really well yesterday, but he's lost 2 spots, Jonathan. He's trying to catch up after starting 5th. He's down in the 7th position.
Yeah, they had all sorts of problems in free practice, but yesterday they changed the wiring loom in the boat, the entire wiring of the boat itself. They found that speed. They went out there this morning. They looked pretty strong, actually, in free practice. And, yeah, as you said, he's lost a couple of slots, but still a long way to go to the end of this race. 46 laps, Steve. So hopefully he can make up some ground as the race goes on.
Bartek Marzwak in his 84th race start. He's got a victory. He did that a couple of years ago in Indonesia. He's got a pole position. He's got 5 podiums. He'd love to make it 6 today as we take a look now at the driver who started in that 3rd spot, and that's Ferdinand Zandbergen. That's exactly where he is right now. So the top 3 have not changed at all, with Peter Moran right there in the 4th spot, and Bartek is the only driver in the top 5 that's dropped back farther, while the top 4 are holding point at this moment, 5 laps into this 50-lap affair.
Yeah, great driving there by the Frenchman, Peter Moran. Looks like he's got some solid pace out there, Steve. But as we speak, I can see that Rusty Wyatt, who started a lot further down the field, he is now catching up with him. He's in that 5th slot and being pressurized by the other Charger driver, Stefan Arand.
Yeah, the 2 teammates fighting side by side as Peter Moran's trying to make good his escape. And here comes the Canadian as he is flying by. This man has got 4 victories in the 10 races that he has now started. He has been tremendous. Last year he dominated early, Jonathan. He led this championship after winning from 4th place in the first round in Indonesia.
Steve, I just saw in the corner of my eye Jonas Anderson. It looks like he'd slowed down because as Rusty Wyatt's actually overtaken him. So there we pick up Jonas Anderson. Does he have an issue?
It could be. He's slowing at a pace that he's probably wasn't happy, but looks like he's trying to get back up to full speed, and right now, Jonathan, looks like he's flying around the race course, so maybe a little bit premature with Jonas Anderson. He's finished only 1 of 3 races this year, so it's no problem with that knee-jerk reaction of, well, maybe he's got a problem, but right now it doesn't look like it here.
No, it looks like he's back up there, and you can see Bartek Marzwak in the 77 boat there. Jonas, as we speak, he has fallen down the slate. He's down to 5th, Steve. So he's obviously had a problem somewhere. So we've got at the moment, we've got Sean Torrente leading the way, Zandbergen in 2nd, Peter Moran in 3rd, Rusty Wyatt, the Canadian, moved up to 4th, and Stefan Arand pushing hard to try and get that 4th from him.
Yeah, the Charger boat's 4th and 5th, and here comes Comparato now side by side. He is being very aggressive with Bartek Marzwak. The fight for 7th place. Bartek has dropped back 2 places, and Comparato is nipping at his heels. He started 9th, and he wants that 7th place badly, but at the moment the Polish driver has got him at point. Now let's see on the inside, could Comparato take him? It's a drag race down the front straightaway, and right in front of him it looks like it's Jonas Anderson, who is really struggling, Jonathan. He's down in 6th position.
He's back up to speed, Steve, so obviously I don't know what went wrong with him on about 2 or 3 laps ago, but he certainly was struggling as we pick up Wyatt again there now. Wyatt himself up to 4th, Steve, and I'm telling you now, with 42 laps to go, we have not seen the end of what Wyatt can do in this race.
Comparato in that 7th position as he has worked his way around Bartek Marzwak, who's in the 7th spot. The Polish driver trying to get that back And both drivers have a victory on the tour. And I'll tell you something, the driver from Italy is trying to do his best and hold off the Polish driver who's in his 85th start.
Yeah, Comparato, they're taking a nice tight line, going from boy to boy. That's the way to do it, because nobody's going to be able to take him on the inside. He's got good speed up that back straight. So at the moment, Comparato just about holding. You see Bartek there trying to close up on him again, because Comparato now has got one or two of the back markers that he's caught up with, and they're certainly slowing his progress.
It's so close. There you can see it, 1.11 seconds. The difference between that position as they fight right now for that 9th and 10th position. But who's dropped out? Stefan Hagen. What a shame. The man who got his feet wet for the first time for Germany, the 5th German driver ever on the tour. He's out, as is Damon Cohen, who really didn't start. So we had 19 drivers starting, and one of the 2 Aussies didn't get off the dock. That's a shame for the rookie from Australia.
Yeah, Bartek there still running strong in that midfield. He's in that 8th position, but didn't seem to have an answer for Comparato. Comparato putting up some great pace. What a beautiful overtaking maneuver there from Comparato as he goes down round the right-hander and into turn number 2 with there's Jonas Andersson there. Andersson now down into that 6th slot. Obviously he made a mistake earlier on, picking up Sami Seljo there now. He's in 9th, so he's picked up 1 slot.
Yeah, Sami Seljo started 8th. He's down to 9th, but Comparato doing a little argy-bargy, working his way up close, and he worked his way around. What a nice move on the right-hander. He swept by on the outside, then took the inside lane and slammed the door and put himself in a position where Bartek Marzwak could not answer. As you look at the 2-time world champion of 2007, 2010, that's Sami Seljo driving the boat that they helped build, the Sharjah boat. Seljo has not won in 9 years, Jonathan. He's 0 for 38.
Yeah, a little bit of a ding-dong battle going on there between Seljo and Jelf. Jelf was on the inside. And he's lost it.
Oh no, Sami Seljo blows the boat over. He takes off, he stalls it, and he does a barrel roll, comes to a stop. Sami Seljo getting caught in the wash. He launched off the wave, and he went totally airborne, stalled the boat, and then did a complete loop and came down into the water. So the veteran from Finland, the 2-time world champion, we were just talking about him, but it looks like he is A-OK. He jumped out of the boat very quickly. He's letting the Osprey rescue team know that he's okay. Thumbs up. That's great to see. The driver, the 27-year veteran, I'll tell you what, he's tied for 10th in this championship. It's not been his year, and this continues his bad wash of luck today.
And that was a great battle going on there between Bartek Marzwak in 8th, Seljo, who was up to 9th. He dropped back 1, then he gained a place. Ben Jelf was putting a lot of pressure on him, and as they came down that right-hander, that's exactly where Jonas Andersson overturned yesterday when he was trying to get the pole position from Sean Torrente. He got so much air underneath the tunnel. That's the area in between the 2 sponsons of the boat, and it was curtains.
Well, as you can see, as a radio man sitting there trying to cool off, is looks like Sami Seljo. Of course, he's taken an unexpected bath. He didn't plan on doing this today, and but he looks like he's okay. They're being very cautious with the driver, who just did a tremendous blowover and then stalled it, and then he looped it into the water, and he has come to a stop. So Sami Seljo this year has finished 11th, but this is the 2nd crash that he's had in 3 races, Jonathan. He crashed out in Shanghai, so bad luck so far in 2025, and you can watch it again as he comes by and he sets up and gets by him. Bartek Marzwak almost lost it, and then he caught his wash and he took off, and Sami Seljo had nowhere to go but heading rearward upside down, and he looped it.
Yeah, you could see what was happening there. Bartek was coming around. He'd actually got a little bit more speed. Let's play that again. So you got Sami there on the inside. Bartek just about holding enough. Sami saw the gap coming down into the next turn boy. He thought, I'll go across his wash and I'll get to that turn boy. There you see the turn boy just ahead of Bartek, because Bartek was taking a wide line. Unfortunately, got a little bit too much air under the tunnel. That's the middle of the boat, and it was curtains.
Seljo is A-OK as he's walking off the dock, and you see it again here. He indecisive, had nowhere to go. He was trying to get out of the wash, and boy, all of a sudden he got launched with the wave that was affected by Bartek Marzoak, and couldn't save it the trim. He was trying his best to lower it, but it didn't happen. Bartek Marzoak was teetering on the edge of disaster. He almost blew it over himself just moments before that.
Yeah, you're right, Steve. There's a lot of wind. I mentioned this when we were talking about the course map. You've got wind coming in from the seaward, and you've got wash coming from some of the pleasure boats that are on just outside the circuit itself, and that's creating one or two issues. Jonas was caught out there yesterday. Zandbergen, who's actually right up at the sharp end now, he's in second position. He almost lost it, and his teammate today, Sami Seljo, he couldn't quite save the boat there once the wind got underneath it.
So the driver from Helsinki, Finland, has pulled it, and there you can see Duarte Benavent. He's out of the race too. So the driver from Portugal has dropped out of the number 10 machine, the Atlantic team. That's the third time, Jonathan, in 4 races that the Portuguese driver has failed to finish. He's having a frustrating year too.
Yeah, that's a shame for Duarte, because he was running pretty strong out there. You know, he was mid to bottom of the mid-pack, let's say, and he just seemed to be having a bit of fun there. But you can see picking up Sean Torrente, 36 laps to go in this race. Sean Torrente at the moment holding that lead. The only thing now is, of course, all the other boats will have caught up with him. So that enormous gap that he got between him and second is now lost. It's almost like another restart once this yellow flag comes out.
Yeah, we've lost 5 boats already, 14 laps into it, Jonathan, and just showing you how tough an afternoon this is with this breeze kicking up and the crosswinds that these drivers are facing. And the big question now is, can Jonas Andersen, who had been drifting back farther and farther and farther, and can he figure out a way to get back up into the top 3? He's down quite a ways, and there you can see, what a shame. It looks like Ferdinand Zandbergen has come to a stop. So the teammate of Sami Seljo, Ferdinand Zandbergen, being towed back in, and this is the first time all year he has failed to finish. He's had 2 top 10s, and make that 3 top 10 finishes. His best was the 7th in Shanghai, but Ferdinand Zandbergen from the Nederlands will not go any farther today.
Yeah, Sean Torrente there now leading the way, clear water ahead of him. He'll be in communication with the Victory engineers that are down in timing, because Sean will not be able to see when this race is actually restarted. It can restart at any given point on the circuit. So the guys there that we've just picking up in timing, they will be watching the UIM official. When that UIM official drops the flag, they will inform Sean, and he's got to be bang on the money. He's got to make sure that he's carrying some decent speed and he can retain that place that he's got at the moment.
Well, Peter Moran is right behind Sean Torrente. He's second on this list on the restart. And this year his best finish is 1 top 5. He finished 5th at the last race in Zhengzhou in China about a month ago. And oh no, we've lost another driver, Cedric Deguine. Cedric Deguine, the Frenchman, who is looking like he has come to a stop. Jonathan, I'll tell you what, he raced in the opening round back in 2004. The opening round meaning the first race here in Saudi as a rookie. And he's in 21st place in the championship with 4 points. He's struggling a bit. And for Cedric Deguine, right now, that is the second time this year he's failed to finish.
Steve, to me, the man of the moment is that guy in 3rd position there, Rusty Wyatt. He had a tough time yesterday in qualifying. They had all sorts of issues. Lenny, the chief mechanic there, sorted it out last night. I was having a chat with him. He said it was holding them back a lot yesterday. They've got the problem sorted. So he started back in 7th position, Steve, and he is scything his way up through the field from 7th to 3rd. Watch out for Wyatt, the Canadian, in the next on this restart. He's going to be fast.
Well, the boat fits just the formula to success here. It's a boat that runs the rougher the water, the better it is. And with this afternoon blow coming in from the Red Sea, we're just footsteps away. Anything can happen. As you said, Rusty Wyatt, when things are going well, he is a charger. He won the opening round. He crashed out in Shanghai, put him on the back foot, but then he made the podium for the 2nd race in a row that he finished in Zhengzhou. So we look at the driver from Ontario slowly moving up. We're anticipating here shortly everybody getting back into position. You got to get the racing people back into position for the emergency procedures, and it looks like all the Osprey rescue teams are there. We got the green flag and we're back racing again. Can Torrente hold off the charge first of all of the Frenchman, as it looks like Pierre is finding himself fighting in that second spot as Rusty trying to move up side by side with Peter Moran, and they kiss each other and they touch as they come out of the corner, trading paint. Jonathan, it's a drag race down to the front straightaway. Who can hold it longer into the right-hander? So far it's been the Frenchman, and Rusty Wyatt almost did the same thing that just happened to Sami Celio. Somehow he saved it.
And now you can see Stefan around the other Sharjah driver, because he made that mistake. He saw that opportunity. He said, I'm going for it. He went on the inside of Wyatt. Wyatt almost blew that boat over as he was fighting for second slot against Peter Moran. Wow, great driving between those two drivers.
All right, there you see him flying in formation. The Sharjah team. You got Rusty Wyatt and the 17 machine, the Canadian out of North America, holding off the young Estonian driver, the youngest driver on the tour, spreading it out about 12 boat lengths now. Wyatt has got the horsepower, and he is really flying. He's nipping at the heels of Moran as he's trying to catch up to Peter. The long-time endurance racer who's turned into be a pretty good Formula One driver. He finished up in the top 4 of the championship. Oh no, and Rusty Wyatt has made a mistake down on the backside, and he spins out and comes to a dead end. And Rusty Wyatt, can he fire the machine back up and keep going? And it looks like, yes, he is. He has not given up the hunt, but he's dropped way back, and the yellow flag again has come out in the last 4 laps. Let's watch what happened here. Wyatt now flying the boat, digs into the corner. He stuffs the nose as he goes around the corner and almost barrel rolls, but somehow he saved it, Jonathan. And with that, he's able to fire the boat back up. Hopefully not too much damage. What do you think?
Wow, that was almost curtains for him. As you see, the boat came off a wave, one of those rollers again we were talking about earlier on, and you can see the outside sponson dug in. How he saved that, it is a miracle. But he was pushing so hard. You saw the lap before, he almost lost it as he tried to take that second position away from Peter Moran. Brilliant driving, but just pushing that little bit too hard, and those conditions down that bottom end are treacherous.
All right, as we come back with 30 laps to go here, the yellow flag still out. Everybody's going to try to nuzzle on up to the leader, Sean Torrente. We almost forgot about the Florida driver who's out there putzing around. There's all sorts of action going on in this top 10, especially in the top 5. And there you see Mark Major, the cousin of Rusty Wyatt, ready to talk to the officials, and he's waiting to find out exactly where they're going to place him here on the restart. At the moment, it looks like Rusty is not listed. I don't see the 17 machine here, Jonathan, as we look down at the yellow flag order, but obviously they'll get that squared away.
Now, Steve, the guy in third position here now, Stefan Aran, do you remember yesterday him making those moves down into turn number 1, that yellow, where the conditions were incredibly difficult? He was picking boats off there, ding-dong. So watch out for him. He's in that third slot, Peter Moran in second. Peter seems to have some solid pace out there this afternoon. He didn't seem to have enough to catch Torrente, but I tell you what, he was pretty quick. But you can see there now, Torrente leading the way, Peter Moran on his outside, Stefan Aran on the inside. It's going to be a ding-dong battle here come the restart.
And guess what? Jonas Anderson is back up into the 4th spot. So the 3-time world champion is not out of the mix yet. He's kind of working his way up through all the mayhem that we're seeing here. And he's still not out of play yet on these restarts. It closes up. Everybody close up. And all that advantage that Torrente had, it's now erased. And now it's a battle as they wait for the green flag. And it'll be a drag race to get back in the top 3.
Yeah, you could see Wyatt's crew chief there having a chat with the UIM officials. Didn't quite know what was going on there, but it looked like he's back in the race. It looks like everything's okay with him, but he's got a mountain to climb now, Steve, to get back up at the sharp end.
Yeah, they got him down in the 13th position, so he's going to have to work in a hurry with 29 laps left to go here, Jonathan. He's going to have to make himself in a situation where he's going to have to power his way harder than he has all weekend to start climbing back in and get some championship points. He's right there third in the championship, and he doesn't want to make any more mistakes here. As we wait, we anticipate the start. All the rescue team boats getting back into position. There's the UIM officials holding off. They want to make sure everybody gets lined up properly. They're double checking to make sure that the boats are in the proper position now. They take a photograph to make sure they do have. And at the moment, now they show that Rusty Wyatt is in the second position. Let's double check this, Jonathan. Let's see what the scoreboard says, because they've got him in the second spot, but that's not right, because they've got the driver right there, Peter Moran, on number 7 with the CTIC China team in that second spot.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that's the 18 boat of Stefan Aran of Estonia, the second Sharjah team boat, in the third position. So we'll just have to wait and see how the officials work this out here. As we look up, and we can see he's charging his way past this competition, and he's moving himself back up. It looks like possibly they're going to give him the position. That's unusual. Let's see how this plays out, Jonathan. They brought the yellow flag up, and he kept going. Maybe they're going back to the lap before.
But at the lap before, Steve,
he was not in second.
No, but as they crossed the start-finish line, was he then in second position? But you know, a lot of boats overtook him after he lost control. So I don't know. What do you think? It seems strange that they've actually given him that second slot back, when in fact it was him that actually
caused
put
the yellow flag.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. They're still in some kind of discussion going on. Obviously, the victory team, I don't think they feel like they want the Canadian up there right now.
No.
So oddly enough, it's become a 2-horse battle and 2 North American teams. Not the teams, but the drivers. Torrente from Florida, and of course Rusty from Canada, with 2 UAE teams fighting it out here.
Yeah, we're just going to have to wait and see. Officials there going back, checking where everybody is. They're going back now to talk again to. So he probably will have to go to the back of the grid shortly. Ah, we go. So we're there. Yeah, you can see Scott Gilman on the radio to him explaining. UIM chief said, "Look, you've got to go to the back of the field, because obviously you caused the incident for the yellow flag to come out." But I'll tell you what, watch out for Stefan Aran, Steve, because Peter Moran, he's going to have a battle on his hands in the next couple of laps. It looks like Sean seems to have the pace on everybody. Would you agree with me on that?
So
but,
far,
you know, anything can happen.
But you keep running in and out of these stops and goes. It doesn't help the engine at all, Jonathan. You know how that is. You're in the groove, everything's happening right, and then all of a sudden you got to come a yellow flag. You got to slow it down to like 4,000 RPM, and then you accelerate again, and then you do it again. Obviously, it can start to hurt the engine. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, the other thing, Steve, is that we saw Sean there up in the number 4 boat amongst all of that traffic. Okay, they seem to have cleared it now. Some of the back markers, they're dropping to the back of the field. Otherwise, if Sean had to restart with all that traffic around him, that would have been a problem.
All right, here we hold our breath. The green flag comes out, and we're halfway through this race, and we're back to green as the boats come flying down into turn number 5 as they slide out. Can it be Torrente holding off the point here? Here you see Jonas Anderson. He's going side by side with Rusty, and can Wyatt hold him off, as we've got a 3-time world champion chasing a 3-time world champion, but Rusty Wyatt is doing his best, Jonathan.
That's Stefan Aran, Steve.
Sorry.
But Jonas Anderson coming flying through there, and what Stefan should have done was taken a little bit of a wider line there. You pick up Stefan, he was caught napping just a little bit, he's hanging on to third, but Bartek Marcelak now, he's on the outside of him. Bartek, we know, he's picked up the pace this morning, he's found some speed. You can just see he's just got the edge on him as they go down that 600-meter back straight.
Thank you, Jonathan. You're absolutely right. The 18 machine right there, of course, with Rusty trying to charge his way up through the front. There's Bartek Marczałek, aggressive, the Polish driver, who's had a lot of frustration so far this year. He's had 2 top 10s. His best was a 9th at the opening round. He failed to finish the last race, and he's trying to take it out of him. But Stefan Aran now side by side as they go through. But it's Bartek Marczałek heading down toward the right-hander as they spread on out. And as they come whistling down. Now it's Rusty Wyatt. Look at him charge his way through the back markers, try to move up on Grant Trask, the Australian driver, taking him on the outside as they go around the far turn, and they head down through turns 2 and 3, and now he takes off like the wind. And look at Rusty Wyatt power his way past the Aussie driver, moving up quickly as he is trying to catch up. He's already in the 10th spot, Jonathan. He's picking up points, but he's going to need to keep on going. And Ben Jelf, the driver from the UK, is next as we go back, and we can see Rusty Wyatt as he is trying to fight his way and continue to stay away from the Aussie driver, who wants the 10th spot himself, and trying to do his best to keep picking up some championship points along the way.
Ding-dong battle there. You can see Ben Jelf. Oh, Rusty's just got squeezed past Grant Trask there now. As they come into the right-hander, he's going to be a little bit more wary as he goes round this time, Steve. Got to be a little bit more cautious, taking a really tight line there. Ben Jelf at the moment in that 8th slot, and Wyatt closing down on him lap after lap.
Rusty Wyatt, a man possessed. He can smell it, and he is on the hunt. He's moving forward. He can smell blood in the air, and he wants to continue to charge his way up. At the moment, he is sitting there in the 9th position. As mentioned, Sean Torrente still holds the advantage by not too much, as Jonas Anderson has come back up. He's almost 5 seconds back. Let's see how it plays out here as we've gone past the halfway point as this exciting Grand Prix of Jeddah. We're glad you're with us here. Round number 4 of this UIM Formula One World Championship as we work our way down to the final 2 events of 2025. And the World Championship will be up for grabs coming up in the next race at the Road to Sharjah. But right now we're trying to find out who the protagonists will be in the top 3 in the World Championship. And things are changing by lap after lap, Jonathan.
Yeah, it looks as though it's pretty much even Stevens there between Ben Jelf and Rusty Wyatt at the moment. Can't seem to make too much in the way of progress. And you can see Stefan around there taking a tight line on the inside. Bartek Marsalak, he is pushing him to the limit.
Bartek Marsalak from Warsaw is having a great afternoon, and he is doing so well as he started off slowly this weekend, but boy, he is dialed in. And after having a miserable experience when he was in China, his best was only at 10th place, dropped out of the second race. Now he is dialed in, focused, and he is running strong. He's got a lot of confidence, and he's trying to find himself to get onto the podium today. It would be the first time in 2025 as we go back to our leader, Sean Torrente.
Torrente, look at the gap that he's built up there now, Steve. Jonas Anderson in that 2nd slot fell back. I think he must have made a mistake on one of the corners. We didn't get him on shot, but anyway, he dropped down to about 6th or 7th, and now back up into 2nd position. So Torrente leading the way. Jonas Anderson now something like about 7 seconds behind him. Bartek Marsalak driving a brilliant race there. Come right the way through the field, hasn't made a mistake, and we got another bolt out.
Oh no, Alberto Comparato has come to a stop, the Italian driver. He was up in 9th place, and he has dropped out of the race. And we've lost another driver with 20 laps remaining here, and Bartek Marsalak trying to reel in Jonas Anderson. The difference between the two is just over 8 seconds as they come pushing their way through, Jonathan. Actually, it's a lot closer than that. He is staying right with him there. That's the difference between he and Sean Torrente. It's less than a second, Jonathan, and right behind him is Stefan Around. This is a heated battle for 2nd place between Jonas Anderson, Bartek Marsalak, and Stefan Around.
Yeah, Bartek's good wide line there, because if he'd have left that tight there, I can tell you now, Arand would have been on the inside as Arand takes him on the inside. But oh my goodness, is it close there. The problem you've got is that because Bartek's on the outside, he's carrying that bit more speed as he comes into turn number 4. As you pick up 4 there, and you can see then he's got more acceleration, more top speed. Arand, if he buries the boat, he's losing speed. He's creating drag on the boat, and it looks as though he's pretty close. But once they come out of the turn, you can see that Bartek has got the speed on him.
How did Stefan Around not clobber him from the backside? I don't know. That must have been millimeters aside, because he was so very close to Bartek Marsalak, who was flying down the front straightaway. Now we'll see, as you talked about, the difference between the boats and the speeds, this top speed versus cornering speed. Will this be a chance for Stefan Around to try to choke and get up toward Bartek Marsalak?
Gap now between Tarente and Anderson, 7 seconds, Steve. Bartek Marsalak in third, and Stefan Oran doing everything humanly possible to get up onto the podium this afternoon.
All right, as we see one of the princes there, he's talking with the team manager. And along with him is the UAM president. Julie's there too, along with him. So a lot of dignitaries here. As we come back to racing with 17 laps to go, you can see Stefan Oran got to figure something out here. He's trying to stay in clear water, goes to the inside, trying to move up on Bartek Marszałek, trying to slam the door, but Bartek had more speed and now goes down into a very critical turn 2 and 3. And this is where he starts to fight with him there as they go through, and he's being chased down right now. And you can see that it looks like Peter Moran was right there trying to close up on Stefan Oran.
The problem with Stefan is that because he's burying the boat, as I call it, into those bottom turns, he's scrubbing off so much speed. There's so much drag on the boat as he tries to catch up with Bartek. What it's doing is it's allowing Peter Moran in that fifth position at the moment to close down on him. So he's going to have to be a little bit careful. He's going to have to change his tactics a little bit. I would say, come into that number 1 turn by the yellow, float it round, keep the boat on top of the water, take a wider line into number 2, through number 3, and then you're carrying more speed down that back straight, and that may be able to give you a chance to take Bartek.
All right, let's see if you can do that here. He's still got less than 20 laps down to 16 tours remaining here this afternoon of this 50 lap or 45-minute race, whichever comes first, Jonathan. According to my watch, we got about 10 minutes left, so there's a good possibility that we may finish off all 15 laps with this before this comes to an end.
Yeah, Rusty Wyatt there, we got a shot of him, Ben Jelf in the number 9 boat, Rusty Wyatt behind him. Wyatt closed up on him real fast, Steve, but he doesn't seem to have an answer, taking a wide line there, losing a little bit of pace, losing valuable microseconds as he tries to close the gap between himself in 8th and Ben Jelf in 7th.
Yeah, Rusty Wyatt looks like he's lost his mojo there. He got up to that point, and since that time he hasn't been able to close up as we watch farther back his teammate. And let's see what Stefan Oran can do in that 4th spot. He's desperately trying to get up into the top 3, Jonathan, but Bartek Marszałek really right now has got his number. Let's see if somehow Stefan Oran can switch strategies and close up. And oh my, look at Bartek Marszałek air that boat out. Jonathan, he almost blew that over.
Yeah, I've never seen Bartek push so hard in a race for a long time, but the boat is perfectly balanced on the water as he accelerates through the corner there. You can see unbelievable boat control. You saw Stefan trying to take a wider line, trying to keep more speed as he comes out of the corner. Bartek, wow, almost losing the boat as he comes down the front straight away.
Not 1, not 2, but 3 times lifting it up, airing it out to the maximum there. He was able to save it, and the big thing there is he loses a little bit of time when that actually happens. Yeah. So a little bit of a chance for Stefan to close up, but Bartek really has the number right now.
Yeah, at the moment you can see Bartek there again. Stefan definitely closing that gap. He needs to be a bit smoother. He needs to gather his thoughts as he goes down through 1, 2 and 3. Keep the boat on top of the water. Don't bury it. Don't squeeze off too much speed. Here he is. He's coming through here now. Let's see if he can get a better run this time. Ooh. My goodness, that's a tight turn. Probably put in about 6 or 7 Gs there, Steve.
Boy, he was skipping along the water. I thought he was going to nose that in, Jonathan, but he just got the trim up just enough to hold it, and he is giving it 110% if that's the case. I'll tell you, that was scary.
Yeah, he wants that podium, doesn't he? But the other thing is, so does Bartek Marszałek. Bartek driving a beautiful race. He has not put a foot wrong. He started off down the field a little bit, but he's been very, very conservative. He's got a great balanced boat out there, and at the moment Bartek sitting in that 3rd slot.
Just to let you know up front, we're not showing it because Sean Torrente's holding an over 7-second advantage over the other 3-time world champion, Jonas Andersson, but we are focused in back here in this battle for third place in the last podium position. And look at Stefan Arand working his way through the water and the smoke and the haze of this afternoon. With the light going down in the water, it gets tougher and tougher for these drivers to see as they head toward the western side of this race circuit, especially through the right-hander into turns number 2 and 3 when they're facing the sun before turning back out to the long back straightaway.
Nice cornering by Arand there. Bolt a little bit out to the water, so he's got a bit more acceleration as we pick up some of the, there we go, we pick up Jonas Andersson, still in that second slot. We still don't know what happened to him earlier on. Torrente leading the way by 6.7 seconds from Andersson in second, and then there's another 2 seconds between Andersson and Bartek Marcellak, who's starting to close down on him, Steve.
Yeah, we'll wait and see if that happens. There you see him. There's the difference, about 12 boat lengths, and yes, Stefan Arand right there, less than 10. Let me ask you this, as we get down to the close to the 10-lap mark, as we wind down this 50-lap affair, if you're Sean Torrente, now you've given back a second to Jonas Andersson, how do you play this? You don't want to give him hope. You don't want him getting close enough to where he's going to attack you toward the end.
He knows what gap he's got there, Steve. He's got a massive amount of experience. What he's done is he's tapped off just a little bit. He knows if he needs to push harder, he can then open that gap. So what he's doing is he's got to concentrate. That's the whole thing now. Everything's sitting good for him as we see the 17
Rusty has come to a stop.
What a shame.
What a shame. Rusty. I'll tell you what, Rusty Wyatt, the Canadian driver who had looked so strong until he made his mistake down in turn number 3, spun the boat around, almost barrel rolled, saved it, had to go to the back of the field, came back, worked his way up to 10th place, and that was it. And what a sour way to end a great day, actually. He was showing his stuff, but it's come to a close.
Yeah, Mark Majors there, his crew chief, very disappointed. I think, Steve, that whatever happened when he lost control of that boat, you could see he started coming back through the field. He got up to Ben Jelf, who was in that 7th, and he seemed to be able to close down on him, and then all of a sudden he lost pace. So something somewhere wasn't quite right as we go back to that ding-dong battle, as I said earlier on, between Stefan Arand, turning tight on the inside there, trying everything humanly possible that he can to catch up with Bartek Marcellak. Only split seconds between them now. Peter Moran in 5th, still hanging in there, Steve.
Tell you what, 9 of the 20 boats are out of this race. This is a small bull ring. We're running 50 laps today, and that's the longest lap count that we've had, the biggest in a long, long time, Jonathan. And it's just beating up the equipment and the drivers. But boy, you gotta love it. This is true Formula One racing.
Yeah, you can see there now that there's not a big gap between Peter Moran and Stefan Arand. You know, Stefan only needs to make one mistake down that bottom end, and I can tell you Moran is going to pounce on him. So we've got Torrente, Andersson, Marcellak, Arand and Moran. Very, very little to choose between. If one of these guys makes a mistake, as I said, then the other guy is going to be able to take advantage. Look at the gap there, closing again, Steve, between Marcellak and Arand. He certainly hasn't given up with 8 laps to go.
As he works his way on the inside, now to the outside, Stefan Arand, the youngster, just 23 years old, a year out of college and university from Tallinn, Estonia. He is known as the Rock, and he's trying to put on a stone's throw to catch up to Bartek Marcellak, and he's getting closer and closer. And Peter Moran down in that 5th spot, Jonathan. He's trying to get back up into the top 3, but Bartek Marcellak hoping to get on the podium. And for him, if he can do it, it's been a while. He has not been on the podium, and he is not in 2025. He'd love to do it today.
But you can see how close they are. You just saw Jonas Andersson out of shot, and then just behind him, you can see there, Bartek there, very, very close, and then Stefan Arand on the outside, and you've got Peter Moran there trying to take a tight line, trying to close that gap. But it's going to be one thing passing in these boats, it's going to catching them. It's going to be another thing as we've seen Arand actually overtaking. But again, look, oh, very, very close there. Arand on the inside, Bartek on the the outside. Bartek airing that boat out, getting it to accelerate as hard as he can with 6 laps to go.
That is a great boat. That's a good hull. He knows how to drive it to the max. He knows how high. We sit here and we think this guy's going to blow this thing over, but he's done this lap after lap after lap, which means he's totally in confidence with the hull that he is driving. He's got to be feeling good. This man's starting to get a bit desperate for the youngster, Stefan Arand, knowing there's less than 7 laps to go here, Jonathan. He's going to have to make a move shortly, and the difference between he and Bent Marzalak is just 0.8 of a second. It's less than a second now.
I can only guess, Steve, that when they get down to the tight end of the circuit between 1, 2 and 3, that maybe Arand needs to... Ooh, as that boat starts getting a little bit lively, Steve, with him 5 to go. He's trying everything, but so is Peter Moran there. He's closed the gap a little bit. You could see that Stefan almost lost control, which gave Peter that opportunity.
You get a chance to see it again here. Somehow he saved it as he launched it. He starts to aerate the front of the boat. He launches it totally out of the water. He almost took off, but was able to somehow save it at the very end. And that'll get your attention in a hurry, Jonathan. Your heart skips a beat or 4 or 5, just like that.
Great driving, though, by the Estonian driver to keep control of that boat when it was almost totally out of control. As we go back to Bartek again, Jonas Andersson just staying ahead of him, Steve. There's only a split second between second and third, so Bartek, he's got the bit between the teeth and he's not giving up. He wants that second position in this Grand Prix, and again we see the Estonian losing a little bit of ground to Bartek there. Bartek being, I think, a bit smoother in his approach to some of these corners, Steve.
As he comes by, we look up, we see that Sean Torrente has built up his safety margin on second place. Jonas Andersson, it's almost up to 10 seconds now with less than 5 laps to go, Jonathan. So we go back to this battle with Stefan Arand. We've been here most of the race, and why not? As you can see them trying to close up here as they fight for position going into turn number 5.
Jonas Andersson now having some serious pressure, because you could see Bartek Marsalak, he was carrying some solid speed going down that 600-meter back straight. So you got Andersson there in second. In his spray now is Bartek Marsalak. We have not seen him this close, but he's only got 3 laps to do it in.
Bartek Marsalak, it's one thing to catch up to the 3-time world champion. It's another to get around him, but he's running out of time. Let's see if he can pull this thing off. Andersson desperately hanging on, knowing that the Polish driver is trying to close up, and Stefan Arand is right there nipping at his heels. He's kind of waiting for something, some kind of mistake. Maybe Bartek overdrives the boat trying to catch Andersson, and then he'll jump on the advantage and try to move up into the top 3.
10 out of 10 for the young Estonian. I mean, he has given his all there to try and close down and overtake Bartek. But Bartek, he's a cool customer. He's been around a long time. He knows how to win races. He knows he can't win this race, but he definitely knows that he can get a podium. He just needs to be smooth. 2 laps to go. The Estonian coming up on the inside of him, Steve, trying to take a tighter line. Bartek washing him down.
It's not happening right now, I'll tell you right now, as he tries to work his way around 2 and 3. Here comes Bartek Marsalak through the haze and trying to hold off the big charge. He's trying to hang on to the podium right now as the youngster from Estonia, if he can get by him, it would be his first ever podium. So you know how important it is for Stefan Arand to try to get past Bartek Marsalak, who's been on the podium before.
Yeah, he's driving great out there, Stevie. Look how smooth he's gone. And you can see Jonas Andersson on the outside there, just ahead of him. Bartek taking a tighter line there. Final lap, Steve. Can Bartek do it? The gap has opened a little bit again. I don't think he can. Back to you.
All eyes on Sean Torrente, the driver from Florida. He knows he's out and he's got over a 10-second margin as Sean Torrente head down the back straightaway for the final time. As he works his way through, if he wins this race, he will move into the #1 spot going into the final race of the year in Sharjah. He's got 1 more turn to go. For Sean Torrente, the driver with the victory team from Florida, Torrente can look up. He can almost coast home. It's a reconstruction of a dream as he chases another world title, and Sean Torrente comes up with the win, and coming home in second is Jonas Andersson digging himself out of a giant hole to come up just in front of Bartek Marszałek and Stefan Aran coming home in 4th, and Peter Morin from France finishing in 5th. Woo! I'm worn out, I'll tell you. That was a great 50 laps here, and the first time we've come to Jeddah here on the creek, and this was memorable, it was historic, and Sean Torrente, baby, the boy from Florida's back.
He certainly is. He's been confident all weekend, isn't he? In free practice, I said, how's it going? He said, I've never felt more comfortable in a boat. The pace is there, and he said, I just want these 20 points and I want to go home. And he just seemed to have that confidence, and as I say, he didn't put a foot wrong. Right the way through the race, he knew exactly where he was. He positioned himself well there. You can see some of the crew there that prepare the boat for him, the victory team based out of Dubai in the Emirates there. Wow, what a performance from him. But you know, Jonas in 2nd, my goodness, he came back through the field, Steve, didn't he? Because at one time you can see there his partner on the radio to him. She must be pretty happy because he was halfway down the field, halfway through the race, and he sized his way through the traffic and got up into that 2nd slot. And Bartek Marszałek, what a drive for the Polish guy.
Yeah, what a great day for him, and for him, Bartek Marszałek, that's his 6th podium on his career. He's all excited about that. He's been finishing an average of 13th in this year races, and you can see the excitement going on with Bartek as one of his crew members is there cheering him on, and Robertino was there excited for him. So the driver from Poland finishes 3rd, but there's the man of the hour. We didn't see much of him because he was so dominating, as Sean Torrente comes up with the victory. It's his 12th of the year, and of his career, I should say, and for him in his 68th start, that's his 33rd podium. And Sean Torrente gets the clean sweep, Jonathan. He wins the pole as he sits there and does donuts and congratulates the crowd and lets them know Torrente gets the pole, he gets the heat win, and he gets the victory. A rare thing. He got the whole enchilada today.
He certainly did. And just watch when he gets out of the boat, because you'll never see, when this guy wins, you've never seen a guy more excited in his life. Watch this. I mean, normally he's just, here he is, yeah, he's loving it, isn't he? But, you know, all credit to him, Steve. He was 2nd in China. He stuck right behind Wexstrom all the way through, but he said things were not quite right. But since China, he said the team have gelled. Everything seems to be running smoothly. They've given me a really good package here, he said, and now it's down to me, and I think I can do it, and he did.
Sean Torrente is just not a boat driver. He's not just a champion. He is also a boat builder, he's a manufacturer, and he is also one of the most dedicated service people in South Florida. He takes care of customers that have high performance boats. He improves on the performance, finds the correct props for them, and also drives. And I'll tell you what, he's quite a guy. He's got 10 employees working for him now. Bigger, better, and I think the year off that he had where he didn't race last year really got his focus back, because he decided that maybe he was done. He thought, I've got 3 world championships, but I'll tell you what, he's now in the catbird seat. It's a long way to go. We still have 30 big points to chase, but he has a good position right now of picking up his 4th world title, and if he does, he would tie the American Scott Gilman and his old teammate, Mr. Kinsella from Italy, who Corella had a great 4-time world champion battle with Sean Torrente, and a big hug now for him and his team. The victory team, as Jonathan said, so very professional. They are spot on. They are #1 when it comes to offshore in the years past, and now in powerboat racing. Sean Torrente back in 2016 when he was running with the Qatar team, and they folded after the first race, and Torrente had won the opening round. He went and he convinced the victory team to step away and continue with their offshore racing and try inshore powerboat racing, something they didn't really know much about, but Torrente and his enthusiasm got him to jump in the fray, so to speak, and Torrente now is getting the fruits of the reward of a team that is so very professional. And he and his teammate Alec Wexstrom, who struggled all weekend, finished up in the top 10. There you see Jonas Andersson having quite a weekend. Tell you what, he's been up and down all weekend, but the professionalism of Jonas Andersson, the defending world champion, after yesterday's flight that he took off and nosedived in at about close to 160 kilometers per hour when he stuffed the boat. He got out of the boat and immediately tore it down, tore the engine down, fixed the boat, got his elbows all the way up into the engine to fix it. He was dedicated and he got the job done, and he made it back out in less than 4 hours after his qualifying mishap yesterday, because then we ran heat races and he was all set to go, and he ran the heat race, and Jonas Andersson won his heat race and put him in a position to start second behind Sean Torrente today. And then of course he had a bit of a miscue and dropped back all the way down to 6th place, but he charged his way back with a couple of restarts and put himself squarely on the podium in 2nd place and picked up 5 valuable championship points. So he is 14 points behind Sean Torrente now in the fight for the world title for 2025. The sun continues to set. It's all congratulations dockside, the Blues brothers, for the victory team. Everything's blue with the victory team except the excitement on the water. Let's take a look at the unofficial results as we have them here with 50 hard laps of racing. Torrente picks up the victory today, did a 44.4, set the fastest lap of the race, picks up all 20 points. Jonas Andersson finishes second, almost 10 seconds back. Then Bartek Marczak, in a heated battle with Stefan Arani, beat him out for that third final position on the podium by 2 seconds. Peter Moran did his best to jump up into the top 4, just failed to do that. Eric Stark came charging back up after starting all the way down in the back of the field at the tail end when he had to have an engine change. He had a great day. Ben Jelf, the young UK driver, had a solid 7th place. Marit Stromoy finished 8th. And Alec Vekstrom having a tough weekend for the points leader coming into this weekend. And now he is not the leader anymore, as his teammate is, as Alexandre Bourgeot finished in the 10th position, picks up a valuable championship points for the French driver. And then Mansour Al-Manzouri, the Team Abu Dhabi driver, finished in the 11th spot. Rusty Wyatt had a real up and down weekend. He came on strong, then dropped back, made a mistake, fought back up, and then the engine quit on him in 12th. And then Grant Trask in the 13th position, along with Alberto Comparato, Cedric Deguine in the 15th. All these drivers failed to finish. Ferdinand Zandbergen, Sami Celio, who crashed out early, and then Dwight Benevent, Stefan Hagen, and then Damon Cohen, the rookie from Australia, who didn't get a chance to really get into the race after all. So around they go. This is round number 4 of 5 in this championship for 2025. Sean Torrente directing his crew to take it closer. Let's get to the fans. There's a lot of people here today. And he's riding that boat like he's riding a thoroughbred horse, which, by the way, speaking of horses, his daughter is a wonderful horsewoman in the United States, and Sean knows a lot about horses because he's been raising them for a long, long time. So Sean Torrente, there you see him in slow motion, and the crew excited, and why not? He is establishing himself as the man to beat here in 2025, and he kisses the babies, the fans, the cheering public. He is over the moon, Jonathan. Sean Torrente did not make a mistake. He had to come up on 3 starts today, and he got them all correct. And sometimes that's a lot of pressure on the engine and the driver, and he kept his cool, got the job done early. He got the hole shots that he needed, especially to stop the 3-time world champion Jonas Andersson, and powered away to almost a 10-second victory.
Yeah. I think, Steve, in the end, you know, he's very calm, he's very collected, he's a true professional, and that's what, you know, makes the difference between some of these top drivers and the others, that they just know how to control pretty much everything. They don't get flustered. I was talking to him on the pontoon just before he got in the boat at the start of the race. Steve, he said, oh yeah, how much time do you need? I said, well, you've only got 5 minutes before the start of the race. He said, that's okay. He said, as long as I can get in the boat 2 minutes before, I'm happy.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights here of this 50-lap affair. Round number 4 of this championship. From the start, off we went. It was a drag race, and the whole shot would be handed to the Florida driver. You can see right here the boat in the right side spots, and that was Jonas Anderson in the red machine trying to push the Florida driver to the limit, but he held off. And then you go back a little bit farther, you get a chance to see how tough it is. You got to maintain your lead and watch how they all wash out, and you can see these drivers going around the race circuit, setting themselves up to head to the down front straightaway for the very first time. And it was Torrente right off the bat holding about a 5 boat length margin. And trying to close up the gap was the Sharjah team boat, trying to be right there with them. And a great start. Bartek Marzawak on that first lap already charging his way toward the front as Torrente on the opening lap. And then we saw some great battles side by side. Here was a 3-boat battle between Ben Jelf on the inside, Alberto Comparato in the red or the yellow and black boat, and then Sami Celio in the red and white boat. And Comparato for a while looked like he was lightning quick. He was very aggressive, looking strong. Failed to finish though, as he finished 14th in the race, but he was very aggressive early on. And then Sami Celio in a tough battle there, and he made a mistake. Oh my, Celio, the 2-time world champion, went over as he got in the wash. Bartek Marzawak couldn't hold it, and the boat flew over. He took off, stalled it, and there he gives the thumbs up. I am A-OK, but my day is goodbye and gone. You can see Bartek almost losing it, but look at the spray behind him. He got too close, and that was a launching pad for Sami Celio to go straight up as Ben Jelf just missed him on the outside. And Celio has done this before. You remember in Porto years ago in Portugal, he did the same thing as he was racing down the front straightaway. So Sami Celio, for the second time this year, has crashed out in the last 3 races, and he'll have to regroup for the race 1 month from now as we head for the road to Sharjah. On the restart, the first of a few, and here's where we saw Rusty Wyatt really get determined and strut his stuff as he went side by side. Trade and paint right there. Archie Barchi with Peter Morin of France on the left, as these two were scraping paint. And then, almost making a mistake there, Rusty Wyatt comes off into the corner. Then he makes a huge mistake, but he saved the boat somehow. As the boat almost barrel rolled in the corner, it dug in, and somehow he was able to jerk the steering wheel back to hold up. You can see it again here. He slides the boat, went in there way too fast. He skids it along and then almost went over, and somehow he saved it. The nose of the boat steered it back in the opposite direction, and he came to a stop. The yellow flag came out, and everybody thought, well, he's pretty lucky, but he still has a chance to continue on. And he got aggressive even after he had almost barrel rolled the boat. And on the restart off we went again. The question was, could Torrente continue to hold it? And this was the battle of the day between Bartek Marzawak, and the fight for 3rd place eventually between he and Stefan Aran, who is the youngster out of Estonia. Torrente out in clear water built the margin from 5 seconds up to 10, and then late in the game, what a shame, Rusty Wyatt, the Canadian, dropped out of the race on the 39th of 50 laps. He was done for the day. And look at Bartek Marzawak, the pilot of the day, flying that boat but didn't blow it over. And Jonas Anderson, on all these restarts, nuzzled his way all the way up into 2nd place and started challenging Torrente. Got to within about 5 seconds, but that was it. And as the checkered flag came out, it was Sean Torrente picking up his 12th career victory. Jonas Anderson made it to the podium. And 3rd was Bartek Marzawak and Stefan Aran. And look at the celebration as the donuts start flying, as he starts spinning and doing a couple of 360s in celebration. Sean Torrente having fun here in the sun. And he's been on the road for a couple of weeks. As he mentioned, he's excited about going home, and at the same time knowing that he's got a great chance for the victory coming up in a month from now. We'll have to wait and see. Anything can happen, but he got the hat trick today. Let's take a look now at the team standings as we get a chance to check out exactly the standings here as we've gone through 4 of the 5 races this year, and these are totally unofficial. And here's the driver championship. First, we'll show you that 89 points. There's the difference, 14 points between he and Jonas Andersson. And Alec Vekstrom has now dropped from 1st to 3rd, and he is 17 points back. Rusty Wyatt falling farther and farther back, and he is 24 back. Stefan Oran is 34 back in 5th place. He's moved up. Peter Moran has dropped. He's down into the 6th position. Eric Stark pretty much where he was in 7th with 44 points. He's tied with Grant Trask. Bartek Marzwak moving up. He's in the 9th position. Alberto Comparado in that 10th spot. As we go down to the final 10, Reed Stromoy is tied with Ben Jelf for the 11th position. Sami Celio is in the 13th spot. And his teammate Ferdinand Zandbergen in the 14th spot. Then Damon Cohen, Mansour Al-Manzouri, Alexander Bourgeot, Duarte Benevent, Stefan Hagen from Germany in his one race here picks up 8 points for the weekend. Kyle Maskell, who was in the race back in the 2 in China, has 7 points. He's in the 20th spot, and rounding out the final 2 is Cedric Deguin, Johan Osterborg. So let's take a look now at the team standings as we have them at the moment. And again, everything's still unofficial as we wait to have the podium celebration shortly. The victory team, 161 points. Boy, I'll tell you, they're on a roll. They're 41 points ahead of the Sharjah team. Team Sweden is about 50 points back. It doesn't look like they're going to win, of course, the team championship this year after winning it last year. China team, Team Abu Dhabi, Stromoy Racing, Comparado, Red Devil, Formula Atlantic, and Mavic Racing with 18 points. Well, for all our international broadcast viewers, it's been a great day having you with us. And for my partner in our exceptional television broadcasting crew, whether it's good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever in the world you may be at the moment, you've been watching the most exciting racing entertainment on water, the UIM Formula One World Championship. And as a reminder, join us in 3 weeks' time as we set off for the road to Sharjah in the exciting conclusion to the 2025 season. So on an historic day along the eastern edge of the Red Sea in the world-renowned and historic city of Jeddah here in Saudi Arabia, I'm your host, Stephen J. Michael, saying enjoy your days, love your life, because life is a journey to be savored. So long, everybody.